Well, hello everyone and welcome back. This is your host, Veteran Mountain Man, for another Prepared Monday. I know that this one's a little bit late as I normally post really early in the morning, and I'm getting into normal morning time here as I post this. However, I did want to go ahead and finish up my series about foot care. So I know somebody got all pissed off that I put up an episode about boots, and so I decided to do a 3-part episode about total foot care. I did one on socks, one on boots, and now I'm doing one on emergency care on your feet. So there's a few items that can occur on your feet that will require medical care of an acute variety. Then there are some long-term issues with your feet. And if you have those long-term issues, you need to have them addressed before you ever have an emergency. These include things such as arch support issues, plantar fasciitis, and a few other things, including fallen arches. If you have any of these things, I recommend you see your doctor, get referred to a podiatrist, and get your foot looked at. Now, acute issues include bunions, corns, blisters, and calluses, as well as ingrown toenails. And warts also fall into this category, but warts are a more general thing, so I'm going to cover those in a different category in a different event. So let's just cover these. Well, the two most common that you're going to have to deal with in an emergency survival scenario are going to be blisters and calluses, followed by, if you're not cutting your toenails correctly, ingrown toenails. Now, let's start with blisters. Well, the first thing is, don't get them. Have yourself a well-fitted pair of boots. Actually, you should have two. And have yourselves good, strong, hard-working socks that you can wear. Make sure that you have a sock liner to use so that your sock will slip against your skin as opposed to rub. And that way your foot doesn't generate the friction points that create blisters. Now, should you create a blister, first line of defense is always and always has been moleskin. Now, I don't recommend draining blisters, but if you are going to drain a blister, you need to wick the draining as opposed to popping it. For those of you who don't understand what wicking a blister means, go look it up online. I'm sure there are videos on YouTube on how to do it. But what you'll effectively do is you'll use a needle and sewing thread, and you'll leave the thread in the blister and allow the liquid to weep out along the thread. This usually takes all night. Now, as for calluses, calluses actually are pretty good for you on your feet in a survival scenario unless they're causing you discomfort, and in which case then you will need to clean them off. Now, you might need to use something like a pumice stone or a bit of loofah, or you can even scrape them. But realistically, a good sturdy pad of hard skin for the most part will not actually harm you. You just need to make sure that your feet don't hurt and that you're not creating blisters. So once again, well-fitted boots, good, sturdy, hard-wearing socks. Now, ingrown toenails are something that you can actually combat preemptively, and you can do that by cutting your toenails flush. Not circular cutting your toenails. Don't curve it with the toe itself and try to make it look pretty. Cut it flat at the end. Don't cut it back into the quick, and keep your toenails cut. You'll have to do it at least every other week to every 3 weeks if you don't have to do it every week. So make sure you've got something that you can use for toenail cutting in your kit in an emergency scenario. Toenail clippers are not optionals. Your fingernail clippers, you can always get away with using a pocket knife or a belt knife to clean and trim your fingernails. It's a lot easier to do that with your fingers than it is your toes. So I'm going to recommend either a pair of scissors or an actual set of toenail clippers for toes. Okay? Well, that's going to complete it for the emergency foot care stuff. Make sure when you are in the wilderness that you keep your feet clean, dry, and don't forget that saline water can be used to flush wounds. Well, thank you all again for joining me on this Prepared Monday. Don't forget to upvote and subscribe or like and follow, depending upon which service you're catching me on. Also, feel free to come on over to Minds and hang out there and chat with me. I do open discourse on Minds. Thank you all, and have yourselves a lovely Monday.